And so I would love to invite a really dear friend of mine, Oliver Wolf, to the stage, who knows a thing or two about enrollment, knows a thing or two about what it takes to ask for what you need, and is supporting so many people to do the same, and has transformed himself to do the same over time. So thank you very much, Oliver.
So we're going to have a shocking good time, apparently. So there's a couple things I want to do before I dive into what I want to talk to you guys about. First off, I want to ask, who's feeling a little jungle dirty right now? I'm like, and who's actually embracing it? Because I think that's the important point to be made here. I'm like sweating into this shirt big time, but it's all good. We're all wet. And then the other thing that I want to do before jumping into things is I want to express some gratitude. I know a lot of people are doing that, but there's no reason not to share more. And, oh, by the way, can you all hear me like this? Is this good? Rock and roll? Awesome. So I want to express some gratitude to a specific person that is here. And the reason why is that I, just like all of you, have gone through the roller coaster of life. And in the lowest times is when you need the most support. And what's difficult is there's a lot of times where, although we need support, again, we don't know how to ask for it. And so there's a specific girl here who gave me that support even if I didn't ask for it. And so I want to actually get Jess Williams to come up here for a minute, please, to express gratitude to my wonderful and beautiful girlfriend. I know, I'm sorry. I know this isn't super valuable to you, but maybe you can just, I'll share you the love, you know? And then now, for those of you who've been here for the morning, you did the rubbing hands thing, right? Okay, so basically what it is, it's real simple. Rub your hands together, and then I'll say 1, 2, 3, and then you will say, "You are so beautiful," and point towards Jess, okay? And you gotta say it really loud, okay? What she said. So let's all do that together. Rub your hands together. Pay attention, yeah, to you. Rub your hands together and say, "You are so beautiful." 1, 2, 3. And on that note, will you marry me? That's sales right there. Enrollment.
Oh my god. Okay, and this is Oliver Wolf, everybody.
Mine's at the end. All right, so thank you for doing that with me here. I really appreciate all of your presence in that. I've been in Costa Rica for like a month now, and I've been trying to figure out when the time was going to be, and well, you know, there it is. So, okay, so let's get back into the ground here a little bit, because now I'm all the way up here. So the title of my talk is Empowered Enrollment, the Evolution of Sales. Now, there's a couple of things that's funny about that. 1, I didn't choose the title. 2, I didn't choose to be on this stage. And that's great. Here's why. 1 of the important things, again, just in life, a little bit off topic, is you need to surround yourself with people that are willing to call you forward. And what happened for me and why I'm here today is I was on a coaching call with one of my clients, and Sam Lotus was trying to get my attention and so on and so forth. And next thing I know, I get off my call, and she's like, "By the way, you're going to be on stage, and here's the title of your talk." It's like, cool, okay, let's do it. And I just want to make sure that it's clear that you surround yourself with these people. We've talked about this a couple of times already today. Surround yourself with people that are willing to call you forward into your power, because there's a lot of time where you feel like you should or really want to express or do something, but you just don't because you're scared. And that's okay. But find people that will push you through that fear. So I'm grateful for that. Now, the second thing is the title, enrollment. At first, I was like, but I've literally never used that word. I think that it's actually a very cheesy word for what denial we have as entrepreneurs and so on and so forth. I feel that we're in denial of the fact that we don't like to say the word sales or closing. Does anyone feel a little bit triggered when I say I'm going to close you? Does anyone feel a little bit triggered when I say I'm going to sell you? Right? And so this is kind of a problem, because now we're looking for all these different titles, and what's happening is because we're not selling or closing, we focus on all of the other things about our business aside from the thing that actually brings in revenue, which is selling. Right? So we master our craft, our service, our product. We get so good at our brand, our website, like all these things that make you look like, star in the sky. But people aren't having sales conversations, real sales appointments, where the result is a close. But now what I want to say, though, is that a close is not, because again, here's the sense of what most people feel when they think of the word close, and snap your fingers if you resonate, is you feel like you've taken advantage of the other person when you've closed them. Does anyone feel that way? Yeah. So my interpretation, and what I want to bring back in terms of courage to say these words, my interpretation is that sales, when properly done, everybody wins. It's that simple. Right? And so what I want to do today is I want to talk about sales archetypes. And so we taught the title's Evolution of Sales, so this really works for me after all. They've done research on, I think, something like 6,000 sales reps, professionals, top of their game, and they found 5 sales archetypes. And the one I want to talk about today is the challenger sales archetype. Has anyone heard of the challenger or the challenger close or anything? Oh, this is awesome. Okay, cool. So the challenger is pretty inherent in the word, what that might mean. However, basically what it is we have the typical one that we all refer to as like, the car salesman, pushy, like way too aggressive sort of thing. And so there's an element of what they have that we want to take into the challenger. And what that element is confidence. So one thing I think we can all agree on with these pushy car salespeople is they have confidence. Can I agree? Can we get an agreement with that? That they definitely have confidence, right? It's obnoxious and annoying. I want to punch you in the face, but you got confidence. I'll give you that. And then the other side, though, so we want to distill that and take it into what the challenger is. So again, the challenger is about being confident in your expertise, your mastery, your service, product, value, right? That you're empowered in what it is you're trying to share with the person you are sharing your story or your product or whatever. And what I mean is, the car salesman is kind of like this. Can you actually come here for a second, please? So the car salesman is really like, I'm going to sell you. I'm going to close you, and I'm going to like throw my knowledge at you so that hopefully you turn around and basically feel compelled, or well, not compelled, forced to buy just to like get me off of you. The challenger, you still use, because here's the thing, again, car salespeople, do you agree, they know their cars really well. They know every feature, every gear, they know everything that you need to know, or someone in the building does. So again, that's something else we want to derive from that, is that expertise. Now, a challenger is more like this, right? So we're next to each other, right? Me and my prospect, and I want to share with you my view of what it is I'm looking to bring to you in terms of value. So let's use, who's a coach here in some kind of way, consultant, coach? Yeah, so we got a lot of that. Cool. So I'll use that as an example. But basically, as a coach, right, what you're selling is their transformation. Can we agree to that? That's pretty much what you're selling, is a transformation. Perfect. So if I just go car salesman, I'm just like, you need to transform. You need to become this because right now you're not enough. And if you don't have this, and it's very aggressive, and I'm hurting her. Versus a challenger is more like, do you believe that this is something that you need? Yeah, totally. Do you believe that once you go through this and I keep you accountable and I, give you my assignments, all this kind of stuff, do you believe that you will transform? Yeah. Right? And now what will happen is if, say, there's a point where she says no, she thinks, you know what, I actually don't agree, I don't see the value, then all that is a disconnect in their understanding of your understanding. So I'm going to say that again. It's a disconnect of their understanding of your understanding. So in other words, she sees something in some sort of way, and I need to acknowledge that, and I need to come into her understanding, saying things like, well, how do you mean? Why do you feel that this isn't the best thing? Why do you feel you can't transform here? Whatever. It's not going to work. Totally. So then I need to come in and say, well, how do you mean? Why do you think that? And then she's going to go into a layer, and we're going to start to get an understanding, a mutual understanding of where she's at. Once I have that understanding, I can then be like, okay, well, are you all right with me sharing my viewpoint or my understanding? And asking permission is a typical way to go about it. But more importantly, it's about then going from where they are And sharing your perspective can basically making the bridge from their understanding over to yours. Right? And so once you share your expertise, your knowledge, and so on, and you bring it over, and then they see things from your perspective, then you ask, is this something you'd like to move forward with today? Right? And I don't care what you're selling, unless, well, if there's a one-on-one interaction or two decision makers, but it's like people to people, are you ready to move forward with this today is just your go-to ask. And it's the time where you need to step most into your power and most into your confidence is at that point, right? And so, first of all, is this connecting with anybody so far? Because I'm kind of going on a whim here. Okay, thank you, honey. 2 minutes? Okay, I think I'll actually then close it at that and ask for questions. Is there any questions about sales, confidence in sales? It's perfect that we had the money thing before because that's a big part of it, of course. Do you have any questions about sales right now? Closing, objection handling, sure? You want to come get the mic?
Hey, hi, I'm Dima. Do you see some situations where it might be like too much the strategy, where the strategy might be, yeah, a bit overwhelming? For example, let's say I just want to get some food or to sell some food to somebody. For me, it seems like, okay, this is really too much because the people that want some food, they don't look at it like this. Sure, if you want to make like a big deal, like selling a car, it makes sense, but not in this case. So, yeah.
So, what I'd say is you're not actually selling food in the first place. You're selling a nutritious experience, is what I would say. And beyond that, what you're also really selling, though, is your brand. Right? Because we go to specific restaurants over and over and over because of either the quality or the brand or something like this sort of macro view of what the food is. It results in just a plate, right? That's all it is. But on a more macro view, you're selling so much more than just that plate of food. Right? And so what I'd invite you to step into is don't think of it as selling just a plate to the person in front of you. They're already sold. If they're buying a plate from you, they've been sold. They came all the way to you, right? Like as soon as they left their house and were like, I'm going to go get food at your restaurant, they're already sold. Your goal is to sell them, to get them to think that when they do leave the house, they want to go to your restaurant versus someone else's. That's your sale, and that is much bigger. Does that make sense? Awesome. You had one?
Thank you. I'm Azizi, and my question just has to do with like how does one assign value to something that you want to offer? You know, that from an intentional space that doesn't like. It's weird. This is a shocking experience. Damn. Yeah. But yeah, just like how do you negotiate like wanting to offer something that people will buy, but also not feel taken advantage of, and also not the vice versa?
Yeah. Awesome question. Yeah. So I assume that'll be all I got. Cool. So what that is, and we've probably heard this phrase before, but maybe don't know how to put it into action, but seek to understand. And so, again, a big difference between challenger and pushy is they just push it onto you and they push their beliefs onto you. Challenger is really going to try to actually seek to understand where they are and what's happening is in the action of. So seeking to understand is asking questions, inquiring, being curious, thinking where they are and all that kind of stuff. It's a bit of a dance. And and so in the action of doing that, they will feel that you're intentional and you actually care because you're inquiring and you're being curious about their specific situation. Right? You're getting very specific in what they need. And I'll actually have it in my sales calls where I'll literally say at the beginning, I'm like, hey, if I'm actually not a good fit for you for my coaching, I'm either going to refer you to someone else or just things aren't going to work. But I want you to know that my goal is to make sure that I can actually serve you. Right? And maybe that's a little too front forward off the bat, but again, if you don't want to do that, the big thing is just being genuinely curious about their situation, genuinely trying to understand their situation, and in doing so, they will feel the genuinity. It's as easy as that. Yeah, that's what it's about. Cool.